Welcome back to Chelsea News. Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you are all doing well today, my friends. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I go across football news media, see what's being said about the Blues, consolidating it into one manageable package for you, the viewer, giving you my opinion, but hey, more importantly, asking for yours. One update news story I want to talk about today, but I also want to speculate with you, my friends, about the proposed formations that Frank Lampard could use moving forwards to add additional security in what is a turbulent time. Sit back, get yourselves comfortable, make sure you have a drink as we get into today's video. Make sure you are subscribed, of course, if you are new to Football Therapy. Daily content regarding the Blues, constant news updates, so make sure that notification bell is clicked. Drop a like if you want to show your support, because it does help me out a lot, my friends, as we get into it. Want daily news, but you can't always watch my videos? Then you should absolutely check out OneFootball. Indeed, Chelsea News is sponsored by OneFootball, the companion app that gives you everything you need regarding the beautiful game. Updates, news, transfer news, scorelines, fixture lists, lineups, everything you'll ever need on your phone or indeed on your computer. You can have this too by clicking the link in the top of the description. It's completely free. Why wouldn't you do that? Alright then, now you've done yourself that favour, let's get into today's video. Right, before we get tactical, let's crack into the first news story of today, and that is Frank Lampard's job security, a hot topic of course. The Athletic published an article pretty much on the final whistle of Chelsea's loss to Manchester City, describing the insecurity of Frank Lampard's job security, if that even makes sense. The Athletic are an incredibly reliable source of information, but in that article, if you haven't watched the video I've done on it, I suggest you go back and watch it. They spoke about how he would be under pressure now and how they've heard certain noises of displeasure from the club. But since then, multiple news outlets have reported on his job being safe and how the club are not looking to do a quick fire scenario with Frank Lampard. They are willing to give him time and they do believe in the project he has pitched to them for a long-term concept, I suppose, idea, plan. And today's story is coming out of the Guardian, who also reinforced this story. I'm going to read you a little extract from the Guardian newspaper in this article and then give you my opinion on it. The story was published this morning, and here is an extract from said article. Frank Lampard is to be given time to prove he deserves to stay at his post as Chelsea's manager, despite growing alarm behind the scenes about performances and the club's board being alerted to Thomas Tuchel's interest in the job if it becomes available. Off the bat, they're like, yeah, Chelsea are performing badly, and this German guy might fancy the Chelsea job, who of course, one would assume might get a better performance out of both Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. Maybe. I mean, that sounds a little bit unfair of Frank Lampard because he's only had minimal time with them, but the experience with Tuchel might imply that. Still, no guarantee he'd be successful at all. Let's read on. It is believed Lampard, whose contract runs out in the summer of 2022, retains Chelsea's backing for now. Conscious of his legendary status at Stamford Bridge, the club would prefer not to act hastily with their former midfielder. Lampard fared well after replacing Maurizio Sarri in the summer of 2019, overcoming a transfer ban to qualify for the Champions League and reaching the FA Cup final. All after losing Eden Hazard. That's a big one. He also earned plaudits for promoting Chelsea's young players. Chelsea are prepared to give Lampard an opportunity to reverse the slide, especially with the top half of the Premier League table being so cramped. They are due to host Morecambe in the third round of the FA Cup on Sunday, though the tie could be postponed as a result of the outbreak at the League 2 club, before the trip to Fulham on Friday week, which offers a chance to return to winning ways in the league. Well, you'd really hope so, beating Fulham in the league. If we lost the Fulham derby, I'm sorry, he would really struggle after that. No offense to Fulham. So, what do I think? I think, yep, fair enough. Even though I've reported on this news about him potentially being under pressure, I've maintained my stance and how something's got to give one way or another, but it would be silly to sack him right now. I did say I'd be very surprised if they sacked him, and it's seemingly they haven't. Everyone's gone away to reflect. But yeah, I mean, this is a sort of relatively seminal moment, I think, in terms of Frank Lampard's Chelsea tenure. It's a big slump. I think he's lucky that all the clubs around him are in a similar situation. I think Liverpool have got 2 points out of the last 3 games or something. Everything's doing a madness at the moment, so I think there's a little bit of chill there, but full recognition that Chelsea absolutely have to do a lot better pretty darn soon. Which leads me on to the next part of this story. I want to talk about different formations that Frank Lampard can turn to offer a little bit more security. So let's switch over screens. Right then, let's talk about different formations. Of course, Frank Lampard has been using the 4-3-3 formation, trying to employ a high press system, which has not always worked, of course. In theory, Chelsea have the players to do this in terms of their positional play, but it's not being executed well at the moment. So, should he turn to different formations on the pitch? First off, if he's adamant he wants to maintain a back 4 system, I would be quite interested to see Frank Lampard play down the middle with a 4-4-2 diamond formation. He could play his same back 4 with Mendy in goal. He could even keep N'Golo Kante at CDM, or who knows, bring in a Billy Gilmour there if he wants that freshness. Of course, he looks quite good off the bench. You play a right-sided midfielder and a left-sided midfielder. You could have both Mason Mount and Mateo Kovacic. And of course, you have a tip of the diamond. So for me, I would play Kai Havertz and bring him in from the cold, as he's looked great of late. His confidence is building up. You play him in behind a striker and a sort of second striker. Now that could be Giroud and maybe Timo Werner, but I think Timo Werner is so out of form, I'd play Giroud and Pulisic. Of course, this kind of position would be Timo Werner's preferred role in terms of playing off a striker in a 2, like he did at Leipzig, playing off Poulsen. He might do that well, playing off Giroud with his German compatriot Havertz feeding him in balls. So it could work. This could be the way to get the best out of Timo Werner. But for me, if you're going to play in form, I'd have Pulisic just off Giroud. Giroud scores goals, he's a good big man. Pulisic looks like our most threatening little man. So, a 4-4-2 diamond could work. Next up, Frank could turn to a back 3 system. Lock down the defence. Keep Azpilicueta in the team, but put him back at right centre-back so he doesn't have to get roasted on the flank and just uses good defensive nous. Reece James is good to return, right wing back. Ben Chilwell can play left wing back. And if you're playing a 3-4-3, you can have 2 midfielders, maybe in Kante and Kovacic. You might be able to get away with Kante and Mount, and then you can have your normal front 3, you know, pick whoever's in form, Giroud, Pulisic, and then maybe Hudson-Odoi on the right. But you could also play a 3-5-2, put in an extra midfielder for that additional security. Who knows, maybe Mount, Kovacic and Kante again if you don't want to bring in Havertz just yet. And like I said, you could do the same idea for a front 2. Maybe Giroud and Pulisic, Giroud and Werner, etc. Of course, playing this system, you lose wingers and you rely on your wing backs for width. But I think Chelsea would do well to look to play down the middle a little bit more, because they have a lot of benign wide possession at the moment and they can't really do anything with it. Right, so that's me poking some ideas with some formations. Let's wind this down. Now really, this isn't Chelsea's biggest problem. It's an application, energies levels, and maybe instruction with the players looking a little bit lost, including Frank Lampard on the sideline. Something's got to give at Chelsea, but at least by changing to, say, this 3-back system, a 3-5-2 would offer so much security in terms of defensive nous, and then just try playing in different parts of the pitch. The opposition teams would certainly not be prepared for that, at first anyway, from Chelsea, so maybe that would give Chelsea a little bit of an edge on opposition. Who knows, if Frank Lampard does want to keep with his back 4, then maybe do look to play down the middle with that 4-4-2 diamond. It could be another really good option. I'm just speculating here, but I'd be keen to get your thoughts and opinions on these ideas, on formations. So get down into the comment section and let me know your feelings on that. If you've enjoyed the content, please do drop a like. It really means a lot. It's a way of showing your support to me. Consider subscribing to Football Therapy if you're new, my friends. Other than that, come back tomorrow. See you soon. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.